Hi, guys. Welcome to Para Women Radio. I'm Amy. On this episode, we delve into the complex world of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her outward transitions that, in her mind's eye, will help her transition into her influencer era. For years, Gypsy's actions seem to express a desire to become a social media influencer, and it seems that she may be finally achieving that dream. But at what cost? Is their upbringing coming into play, and is she using what she learned from Dee Dee Blanchard with her current husband, Ryan? An insider to Down the Rabbit Hole at Bedtime has shared valuable information that may prove that she used Ryan, her current husband, to further her influencer aspirations. Meanwhile, Gypsy's stepmother, Kristy Blanchard, seems to be embroiled in one online drama after another. If the rumors are to be believed, what is going on with their mean girl behavior? And let's not forget about Rod Blanchard, Gypsy's father, who seems to show up for Gypsy when there is money to be made, but some say he may be continuing to act like a deadbeat dad because behind the scenes. Join us as we explore the hidden truths lurking beneath the surface of Gypsy Rose Blanchard's influencer world. Let's get into all of this and more on Para Women Radio. How's everyone doing today? Hi, Tabby Cat. Before we get started, if we could start that algorithm dance party that I like to do, just start warming up your fingers, start dancing them up to the heart button and the thumbs up. I think I see some of our members dancing. I see Miss Murda, Patricia Ruberg, Carolina Hurtado, Countess Tara, Caroline D, Sherry P, and Jen. I think they're doing the electric slide with funk. I love it. And there's Heaven Lee. She's doing her signature move, the robot. Huge thank you to those guys. I see all of you out there just hitting those thumbs up buttons and the hearts like there's no tomorrow. Oh, look, Tabby Cat, Dispatch Crystal, Mary Beth Kroll, and it's Sherry P again. Thanks guys for the super stickers. I see them and the rest of the replay crew. What are you guys doing out there? It's their signature move, the Tootsie Roll. Cotton candy, sweetie, go. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. And a big, huge shout out to Brian Burns. Thank you so much for that huge blast of support you gave Para Women Radio. It came at just the right moment. So, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for your clicks and views, memberships, and super support. It helps us dance out into the algorithm and party out there and just bring more amazing people back to the party. It's a way to help us out, and it's really appreciated. Oh, you've been sick, Tabby Cat? I'm so sorry. I hope you're feeling better. Good morning, Desire. How are you today? So we're going to get into Gypsy Blanchard and all of her shenanigans. Oh, Tabby Cat, thank you so much. Thank you for all of your support. You support us quite frequently, and you are appreciated. Let me get my screen together and we can get going. I do want to tell you guys I've been doing a lot of meditation, a lot of prayer. I've had a lot of you reach out to me with support, and so I am feeling much better. Checking my audio. It's been really appreciated, and it's helped me so very much. Junebug and Maybelline have helped me. We've been drinking a lot of water, getting a lot of sunshine, and just fighting this depression. It's all we can do, right? Is just fight it. So let's start out with this video that Down the Rabbit Hole at Bedtime did about Ryan Anderson, and he did more for Gypsy than we realize. We won't be watching all of the videos. We will be putting the link to all of the videos that we watched down in the description, and you can watch it all on your own time. I have to stop and start it for fair play use, and that's just the way it is. Some of you get upset about me stopping and starting, but legally that's what I have to do. And so here we go.
No one is talking about.
Ryan Anderson has spoken out for the first time since he was blindsided by Gypsy Rose Blanchard, leaving him for her ex-fiancé, as he tells followers to stay tuned for his version of events.
I just want to thank everybody for the support. It's been great. Just living my life, guys. Y'all will see what really happened on Lifetime. We were filming a lot.
He hints in his first TikTok that he has more receipts to post over the Gypsy Rose Blanchard drama.
I'm so glad you're here too. I remember you saying you hadn't been feeling well, and I thought about that like a few days ago, wondering how you were feeling, because I hadn't seen you. But I hope that you're on the mend now.
Drama to come.
So for a while now, I've been speaking with a source who is a friend/family member of Ryan Anderson. And this source has a lot to share about who Ryan is and what's been going on in Ryan's life as far as his support and love for Gypsy. Their relationship is...
Oh, honey, I'm worried that I'm going to have a flare. My flares come like 2 weeks after if I'm upset. Like my flares come after when I'm really upset. So it usually happens 2 weeks after, 1 to 2 weeks after. And if I'm good to myself and I let myself sleep and just kind of really baby myself for 1 to 2 days, I get better really fast. But if I fight it and if I'm angry at myself for feeling that way and I don't let myself sleep and all that other nonsense, then it can last for like a week. It's just horrible. So I'm so glad you're feeling better.
It's quite complicated.
We're talking about autoimmune challenges, you guys. If you have them, so you know exactly what we're saying.
If you're not aware, what frequently occurs with inmates who have a high profile is that they often get involved with someone on the outside who can help them handle their affairs. Frequently, this person eventually becomes a spouse. Well, one of the reasons.
So we know that Ryan was handling her affairs on one of my early lives about her. We reported that what a daily day looked like for Gypsy in prison. Like she would get up and call Ryan, and Ryan would read to her what was on her socials, and then she would kind of say how she wanted to reply, and then they would hang up and Gypsy would do some other stuff and think about it and if this is truly what she wanted, and Ryan would call her back and say what he wrote and what the replies were, and Gypsy would decide how she would want to reply or if she wanted that removed or whatever. And that was Ryan, and Ryan was busy working on this for her.
Could be because it's easier for a spouse to make deals, sign contracts, and get the inmate what he or she needs through virtue of being legally responsible for them. It's clear Gypsy was interested in getting married to someone like right from the very beginning of being put in prison. I have to say, it's no surprise that she was lonely and probably desperate to find someone to have some kind of special connection with.
And Gypsy has that Prince Charming complex, so she wanted somebody to save her. I had it at one point in my life until you realize that nobody can save you. You can only save yourself.
She really hadn't had in the past with other people.
And it's also breaking generational curses, because in my family, like I remember when I got married, my mom said, I'm so happy. And I got married in my 30s, later than everybody else. And she said, I'm so happy that you finally have a husband who can take care of you. I don't have to worry about you anymore. So I'm sure
we can all understand that. And yet, of course,
I'm sure that a lot of girls have grown up with the Prince Charming complex.
Of course, most of us are aware that prison marriages are not the most stable relationships to get involved in. And someone that's willing to marry you while you're in prison may have some psychiatric issues of their own. We get it. And yet I understand the desperation. So Gypsy started out messing around with a multitude of men through email and letters until she found Ken. Now we all know she's been hanging out like crazy with Ken Urker, okay?
So Heavenly, you got that same speech? Heavenly says, oh my God, my dad said that to me too. Never talk to me again. Yeah, well, my dad was a deadbeat dad. So my dad was so embarrassing. He joined a carnival. Imagine when you're little having a carny for a dad. That was embarrassing to me.
He was her first fiance in jail. And I've let all of you know that the source I spoke with, who gave me a ton of information at the beginning of this saga, told me that it was Gypsy who was desperate to stay with Ken. It's Ken that broke up with her and that she was completely devastated by the situation. She wanted to continue the relationship with him.
I think we picked that up on the prison confessions. I mean, she seemed to be like all about him, and the things like when she said that he was sniffing around, she seemed happy about it, like quite pleased that he was sniffing around, because that's who, and how many people just walk hand in hand with their friends, their ex, not even just your friends, because yeah, I have walked hand in hand with just a friend, but I've never walked hand in hand with an ex ever. Never. That I wasn't like rebounding to, right?
She wanted to get married, and he was the one who was out of there. But now, in the public, Gypsy is acting and has been acting like Ken was sort of a stalker. He won't leave her alone. He's coming sniffing around again, according to Gypsy in her latest docuseries. She said that she was devoted to her new husband, Ryan, and Ken was trying to mess it all up, and she wasn't going to let him do that. Funny, because only a few months later, she is deeply involved with Ken. They got matching tattoos and were seen all around NOLA. That's New Orleans, hanging out together, sightseeing, maybe partying a little bit directly before Gypsy went in to have her nose job done. Okay. Kristy Blanchard has been around town speaking to a lot of social media outlets, letting people know that Gypsy was going to have this nose job done.
Kristy Blanchard has been heavily involved in Gypsy since she got out of prison, but she wasn't involved with Gypsy growing up. Like, she really didn't have much to do with Gypsy. The rumors are she didn't have much to do with Gypsy until Gypsy could produce money for her.
And I want to say, regarding the nose job, it makes me sad because I think that Gypsy is pretty and fine just the way she's always been. Maybe that's just me, but
let's skip forward a little bit and get past the nose job. I don't want to really talk about that.
Work done there because they're gone. And then here's another picture where you can see the whole top row.
They're talking about Gypsy has had mouth work done already, and you can see right here it looks pretty good. Like the gold or the silver is gone, and it's not as, for lack of a better word, beak-like, and her nose is less beak-like too, I think. So you can tell that she's had dental surgery, but Lamar Odom offered to give her dental surgery for free, remember? And I just wonder if she's taken him up for that on that. See here, it says Lamar Odom's offers dental makeover. Shoot, I would take it. I've got some missing teeth that I need to get fixed. I've got a fake tooth that I have in there, and I need a few more fake teeth. And I just had a tooth break.
And I'm sure we will find out when the new Lifetime show airs.
But the bigger issue is, directly before going into surgery, she turned to two important people in her life. The first is her stepmom, Kristy Blanchard, and the second is her new bestie, Ken Urker, the former fiance that dumped her while she was in prison. On top of all of that, Ryan Anderson left behind in his home in Louisiana with their little dog, Pixie. whom Gypsy has admitted she left with Ryan because Pixie just liked Ryan better. Ryan seemingly is pretty depressed and sad about what's going on. Now, I know a lot of news media sources are
and what Katie's reporting, she has an inside source that is friends with Ryan. So this is from the inside source that she's reporting
that Ryan allegedly was too controlling, mean, and maybe even a little bit abusive to Gypsy. I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised that this is the angle that Gypsy would go with. And it is possible that some of this...
I'm not surprised this is the angle either. And I'm not surprised she told her dad that Ryan didn't like her spending time with him to make him not like Ryan anymore. That's a perfect thing to say to a dad, right?
Was happening within the home, especially quote unquote being controlling. That's sort of a matter of opinion, right? According to People magazine, Gypsy is attempting to take out...
I remember when I went through my divorce, I said to my mom that my ex-husband didn't like her. And from that moment on, she didn't like him. In fact, I think she had the H word for him. But yeah, it just takes a few words to make a parent not like the other person.
A restraining order on Ryan. So that's taking it pretty far.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard did not sign a prenup. That means that whatever she has, all the money that she has gained since she has been out, could potentially go half to her soon.
After what I've heard, I truly hope she hasn't signed a prenup, because Ryan has continued to work. He still has his job. He did so much for her. And now she should just walk away and be like, you take your money, I take my money. Instead, she's like, I take my money and I take your money too. I mean, I'm not a fan of that.
To be ex-husband Ryan Anderson. What the hell was this girl thinking, and why the hell weren't her parents there to tell her what needed to be done?
When I read the information from the restraining order, it basically says that Ryan was yelling at her in such a way that she was worried he was going to physically hurt her. That's very different from actually...
So she has requested a restraining order according to People.
Hurting her. But I understand that she allegedly has a fear of him and thinks that the restraining order would help to protect her. But let's be honest, of course, taking out a public restraining order is also going to bring in a lot of interest, views, and just general notoriety for her upcoming TV show with A&E, which should be coming out sometime this summer.
It's important to note too, I can tell Katie's becoming annoyed with Gypsy's behavior, though she understands it, and I understand it too. I can sense being annoyed by this behavior because it's really bad behavior. But it's understandable, the behavior, her upbringing. But I mean, at a certain point, you've got to get a control over yourself and take responsibility, right? Am I right? I don't know. I mean, it's reported she's not even in therapy anymore. Although I think she probably is, because it seems like she'd be court ordered to be in it, but with part of her probation. But I've heard that she's not doing therapy, but Ryan is continuing therapy.
Herself in the media, having all these ups and downs, spreading the drama everywhere is going to help her show be more popular. So I have to question if that's not a part of every move that she makes. All right, now here's what I really wanted to share with you. When I spoke to this person who knows Ryan on a different level than many other people I've spoken with, they assured me that Ryan does have a teaching certificate in Louisiana. And they were able to show me the school that he works at. His picture is up on the website as the special education teacher. I won't be sharing the school with you, but he is or has been working as a teacher at this school. And
okay, so there it is. He is working at the school.
To her in her life before she went to prison, it was heavily about her getting therapy while she was in prison and the way that she hoped to turn her life around after she left. This was the kind of book that
she's talking about. Now, Ryan got the book deal for Gypsy Rose. He was the one that set up a lot of the deals for Gypsy while she was in prison. Again, I will put the link here. It's all good information. We're going to be skipping around for fair play use, and I encourage you to go and look at this video and also subscribe to her. It's such a good channel. She's quirky and funny and extremely fair. Her background is in nursing. She was nursing overseas, I think as a NICU nurse or something like that. So she's very knowledgeable too, and very fair.
And from my point of view, the only two people in Gypsy's life who would be able to do this were Kristy Blanchard, her stepmom, and her father, Ron. Okay. From everything that I've read and talked to people about,
she's
Ron,
asking who else in this world would take care of Gypsy Rose other than Ryan. Like Gypsy felt like she needed to find someone to take care of, because these two people growing up, I got to shut off that beeping sound. I want to finish this thought. They never took care of her while she was growing up. So she didn't reach for them when she was out of prison, but she did reach for them when she needed to get away from Ryan and when Ryan had served his purpose. So let me play this. Now she's talking about Kristy and Rod and what have they done.
Ron is not involved. He's never been very involved with Gypsy. He focuses on his work. Although he is there and present at times for his family, he generally takes a hands-off approach. He has not been super involved with his kids, with Kristy. He's just not someone who, as a father, would come out and prepare everything for Gypsy to be released from prison. He says that he loves her. He shows up when he's able to, and if it benefits him, he will provide public support and positive words. But if it came to actually helping her set up her life outside of jail, he wasn't going to be able to do something like that. Well, what about Kristy Blanchard? Okay, I'm going to have other videos coming out about this situation in the future, but here's the down low. Kristy Blanchard already had a lot of problems going on before Gypsy was released from prison. The main issue with Kristy is that she's highly invested in playing around, messing around, and being toxic on social media. She had gotten involved with many social media creators on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook.
Junie's in the bathroom. It's the only mirror in the house, and he always finds it, and he's in there talking to himself.
And the results were dirty. It was messy. I've talked about it a little bit before in some of my videos. I'll be making a large video about it in the future. But unfortunately, Kristy got involved with people who were doing things that did not benefit Gypsy or the cause of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And I believe that Gypsy knew this. She was heavily aware of it. I'll show some evidence of this in the future video I'm going to do specifically about Kristy's role and everything. Kristy used social media to build Gypsy up to create.
I mean, doesn't it sound like she has the inside scoop? So wouldn't you want to subscribe to this channel? I mean, wow.
Create drama that did benefit Gypsy's brand in some ways. But for Gypsy, she saw that this may not be the person who could stabilize everything for her, who could get the right publishers, the right media managers. She recognized that something was going on where she couldn't fully trust Kristy Blanchard to do all of this, in my opinion. I think that she does love Kristy and see her as a good stepmother, and I'm sure we'll see some of that on the show that comes up. But I also know that she recognizes that Kristy may not be able to accomplish all of the things that she wanted to do once she got out of prison.
Okay, so let's move on. We're going to stop that video, and I want to go over to chat and see. Ouch. My back where I had the surgery is hurting, and it makes my leg hurt. I hope rain's not coming. Okay, let me remove this. Let me see. I'm annoyed by Gypsy's behavior, Heavenly says. Elizabeth says she's been after Ken since he broke her heart. Yes. And if I was him, I would run like HE double toothpicks. Although he did. And now that I think he sees all her money, that's why he's sniffing around her money. Ken sniffing around, girl, maybe take a shower. Sorry for the snarky comments, but I think I have had enough of her garbage stories and behaviors. Yeah, and you notice in her, I just want to pop this up here really quick. I noticed that TMZ seems to be reporting on her nose story, and so she's tipping them off. She's tipping them off before she goes out, and she's getting paid for this, which, you know, get your money, girl, get it. But she is playing the money game, and she knows she's learning really fast. But here it says Gypsy Rose Blanchard shows off her new nose publicly. Still healing post-op. Gypsy Rose Blanchard has a new nose, and she was spotted showing it off publicly for the first time this week. What does this say? Even though she's clearly... Well, let's just pop it over to TMZ. There. Gypsy Blanchard shows off her new nose job for first time, still healing post-op. So there she is. I'm positive somebody else could have went out shopping for her. So this for sure was a photo opportunity. Gypsy Blanchard has a new nose, and she was spotted showing it off publicly for the first time this week, even though she's clearly in the healing phase post-surgery. Just days after her plastic surgery last Friday, GRB was out picking up groceries at a Dollar General store in Cutoff, Louisiana, Thursday, where witnesses tell TMZ she was accompanied by her stepmom, Kristy. Check out these photos obtained by TMZ that show off her nose is going after under the knife. As you can see, most of the cast has been removed, leaving just a small bandage in place, and her new side profile is shaping up quite nicely. I get why she wanted to fix her nose. I mean, she had her dad's nose, and no girl wants a manly nose, but I mean, I know I'm gonna take that back. Some girls just don't, you know, they're proud of how they look and they like the uniqueness, and you know, they're not cookie cutter. So it seems to me like she's trying to look more and more like her stepsister or her half sister Mia, because in this photo that I used, let me remove this so you can see this one right here in the background. I mean, doesn't that look a lot like her sister Mia? Who is probably a social media influencer. Let's look at her. Ooh, looks like she might have had a nose. Let me see. Did her sister get a nose job too? Let me just make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. You're not. Okay, we're over on TikTok now looking at Mia Blanchards. And does that look like she got a nose something too?
On the floor. Do not do the trend where you take a photo of yourself and TikTok chooses the sound.
I don't think this is her sister. No, it is her sister. Anyway, this is her sister, and does that photo not look like her sister's photo?
Some of y'all want to see what was in the rest of my haul. So I did some shopping at Sweet Caroline with Gypsy, and then I went back 2 days later, did some more shopping, and then went to the mall and got some more stuff there. So I'll just show y'all everything.
She is talking about her shopping spree that she did with Gypsy Rose.
Mardi Gras big over here in Louisiana. So I got this top that I thought would
I
be
like that
cute,
top.
some jeans or whatever.
I just finished watching Amen and Back, and I saw her wearing the millennial pink and the purple, that lilac purple, and those are some of the spring colors. And I was so happy to see some spring colors. But yeah, so this is her sister. I like to talk about fashion and makeup too. And I think that photo looks just like her. While we're over here, let's see if Gypsy has posted any new photos. And it looks like her sister just had sunglass marks across her. It didn't look like she had a nose job. All right, let's see. There's the... I don't care. This song is I Don't Care, I'm in my breakup era. She likes to post those things like, I don't care, but she cares. It's like the algorithm isn't watching. It's watching. Nose surgery. So she really hasn't posted anything other than her nose stuff and her wolf tattoos. Let's keep going. We're going to pop back over to Down the Rabbit Hole at Bedtime. I haven't actually watched this one yet. So we're going to watch a little bit of it. And she knows a little bit more about the Blanchards. Like, the Blanchards are down and dirty. They'll fight you. Like, they'll fight you. From what and this is all my opinion, my research. I urge you to go out and do your own. This is just for educational and entertainment purposes only. And from what I can see, it's a family that's full of drama, and they'll fight each other. But if anybody on the outside says anything, then they'll team up and they'll turn and then they'll fight that person. So that's what I have gathered from the Blanchards. And I love that she has turned them into the Kardashians. She does these things and it just makes me laugh. She does really funny things. She just has my sense of humor. I get her sense of humor because I'm goofy and silly and just do off the wall things. And sometimes people are like, oh my God, why is she doing that? And other times people are like, oh, I love that. Just need to find your own tribe. And I'm so happy over here on Parawoman Radio that we're finding our tribe here, because a lot of you are coming over, and actually from Down the Rabbit, she recommended my channel. So I know that I have some of you from Down the Rabbit Hole at Bedtime's channel. So I love the community that we're building. I'm actually in love with the community we're building. It's so important to me, and I want it to be a sustainable community where we help each other, where Parawoman Radio can employ other people and put money in their bank accounts. I just really want us to help one another and be sustainable with each other. She's doing Survivor on the Bayou. Oh, Top Model. I used to watch Top Model, and now they're coming out and talking about like all the shows in the early 2000s. Man, they were all traumatic for people. All the reality shows and the kids shows.
I've been lied to. Okay. Where do I even start? I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm starting to recognize how incredibly desperate I am to believe that what people say, like what comes out of their mouth directly, is actually indicative of their lived experiences, right? Like maybe they're not telling me everything about whatever story they're trying to feed me, but they're giving me an explanation that rings true to them. Okay, this is sort of what I believe about people, maybe because that's sort of how I am, right? But then when I find
that's how I am, but I'm learning that that's not how everybody is. I'm learning that, and it's a hard lesson sometimes when you have to learn that.
Find out that all of these people are just making shit up left and right and center and over here and over there in their entire lives. It's nothing less than shocking for me, and I'm struggling with it. Okay, so we all know that the newest deal is that Gypsy Rose, she came out on her social media and let everyone know that she's separating from Ryan. They've only been together for a couple months now. They got married while she was in prison, and there's a lot going down with all of that. I'm going to share some of it with you now, but stick around because I really want to get into the crux of what I want to
I swear, Heavenly, I feel like we might be long lost twins or something. I don't know.
expose here. And it has to do with Kristy Blanchard and all of these big TV contracts and everything that's going on behind the scenes.
That's what I'm looking forward to. And then we'll get in my car and drive home. And I actually plan to take off work for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just to get her fully adjusted. You know, we got things we got to do. We got to see a parole officer. We got to get her an ID, Louisiana ID.
Okay.
So you can see right there that Gypsy needed that in the beginning. She needed that dad energy that Rod isn't providing for her. But like, how long do you want that dad energy? How long do you want to feel like, you know, like you're with your dad or your brother or whatever? That's how it started feeling with my ex-husband. And I couldn't, we argued, and I couldn't like put aside the arguing, like, and feel sexy with him. And, you know, the energy was brother energy. And I just, you know, like, so now that we're apart, like, I still feel the love that I had for him, but it was brotherly love that I was starting to feel. So I think that Gypsy just didn't want that dad energy anymore. He had provided with her what she needed, the setup, and now she thinks she's a big girl and go out on her own. And she is a big girl, but we're seeing that she is emotionally stunted.
Well, Ryan really made that commitment.
And we know why she's emotionally stunted. So
by taking off 2 or 3 weeks from work. I have so much to say. First and foremost, for those of you who aren't aware, because it came out in one of my earlier videos.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing? Elizabeth says, I feel the relationships with Ken and Kristy won't last. Too much greed going on. Yeah, I'm worried about Kristy. I'm worried because she's a family member and she is, I mean, Rod and her just celebrated 25 years. So I believe Rod would choose Kristy over Gypsy. So yeah, I hope I'm wrong about that, and that that doesn't ever come to play, because family fighting is so hard. It's just the hardest thing ever.
Ryan works as a teacher. I mean, many people have put that out there, but from what I've looked into, I believe that it's not like a real teaching certificate license. It's actually like he's a teacher's aide in the classroom. He works with special needs kids. He does like teacher's aide work, but not officially licensed as a teacher. And
I didn't know that. Did you guys know that it was just a teaching aide? I was picturing him running a classroom. Little known fact, one of my many stints, because social work would always create stress, I would go home and worry about my people. And from time to time, I would try new professions, and teaching was one of the professions I tried. I tried to teach the 3rd grade, and I didn't have a teaching certificate, but I had my BA, and that's all you need in Florida. And you guys, there's a reason why people have teaching certificates. I couldn't do it. It was really hard. So my hat's off to teachers. It was an inner city school in Florida, and I had the opportunity to take like a upper class social work job in the school, which should have been what I chose, but I chose the inner city teaching job. But anyway, I didn't know that he wasn't a full degree teacher.
Happened allegedly, according to people who worked with Ryan at the school last year before Gypsy was released, is that Ryan was constantly talking about Gypsy, and many people felt that it was inappropriate.
Gypsy Rose is a goddamn lie.
And when I think of teacher's aide, does anybody watch that Abbott Elementary and the teacher's aide there? It makes me laugh.
Ryan Anderson allegedly lost his teaching license, and it may not be
He's kind of like that in a sense, because he's like flashing Gypsy Rose's picture to the kids and saying, shh, 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 don't tell anybody when they recognize her, because of course they're going to recognize her.
Blanchard home. But mother-husband brother over here lost his license for a reason. As a matter of fact, they're saying it didn't exist at all.
He was bringing up that he was married to this murderer in a school with young kids with special needs. Now, the people who worked with him said that it was being brought up in front of kids. I can't confirm any of this. This is just what these people are putting out there. And many of them said they...
And are we surprised that he did this? Because, I mean, there's a reason why someone marries somebody in prison, right? Like, there's a reason. Although the one good relationship that I feel like came out of like a prison relationship, does anyone remember that case, the West Memphis 3? And Damien married Lori. That's a case that I love to talk about. So if you guys are interested in that case, I would love to cover it like in depth. But do you guys remember that relationship is still going strong? Although I suspect that's an open relationship. But yeah, that's the only relationship that I know that has lasted the test of time.
Getting a divorce, and the reasons why will surprise you. Can't say that we all didn't see this coming, but a part of me was rooting for them. Now, this divorce comes only 3 months after Gypsy Rose's release. When you think about it, this is a girl
I saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming so soon.
that lived as a prisoner her whole entire life and then went to prison for 11 years. She has never known a real life and she's never had a real relationship. So to be thrust into the spotlight, become an overnight celebrity after a lifetime of being locked up, and then get just as quickly canceled by social media, I think that can take its toll on any person in any relationship. News of the divorce comes from her private Facebook page, and she writes, "People have been asking what is going on in my life. Unfortunately, my husband and I are going through a separation and I moved in with my parents' home down the bayou. I have the support of my family and friends to help guide me through this. I'm learning to listen to my heart. Right now, I need time to let myself find who I am," she wrote in a statement obtained by people from her private Facebook account. And maybe I'm stirring the pot, but a part of me also thinks this has something to do with her other ex-fiance. Anyway, who else is with me when I say Gypsy Rose for the next Bachelorette?
All right, I'm not with her on that, but here's the thing. Here's the crux of all of it.
Not for the next Bachelorette. No.
I'm over here going, oh, wow, they're getting divorced. Everybody kind of knew that was going to happen, that was coming due to the fact that she jumped into this marriage while she was still in prison and hadn't really experienced anything of living outside of a prison-like structure her entire life. We get all of that. And yet, as I reviewed a lot of footage from several channels who have been speaking to Kristy Blanchard, who is heavily involved in social media. You guys have no idea what Kristy does behind the scenes. The fact that she reaches out and contacts all of you.
A lot of Kristy's text messages are coming to light. Like, there's text messages coming to light that Ryan and Kristy were plotting to take the beauty influencer Nina down. I'm going to show you that in a little bit, but Nina has done a thing where she showed proof that there were texts going on and they were trying to take her down. I mean, that is so upsetting to me because, as you know, that happened to me recently. And why, you guys? Why? Just why?
These crazy YouTubers. She'll leave comments. She's left comments on my page before, but she gets very involved with these people. And I personally don't have anything against Kristy. I really believe like there's a lot going on there, but she never abused Gypsy Rose. She raised 2 very well-adjusted children, and she didn't ask for all of this to happen to Gypsy and Gypsy's mom, Dee Dee. She's probably trying to deal with it as best as she can, and yet...
So this is what I like about Katie, as she always points out the good in a situation, and then she reports in the middle. I mean, sometimes she says her opinion, but that's what I like about her, and this is how I try to be. You know, sometimes you can tell I'm really annoyed with Gypsy or Ryan, but I just try to report what's happening, bring to you guys.
Behavior and getting extremely involved without...
And I don't think I'm a Katie Joy where I think I'm any kind of reporter, you guys. I know that what I'm doing is just somebody on YouTube gathering information, putting some of my opinion in it, and bringing it to you. I have no ideations that I'm a journalist.
Of control, like social media people.
So I did take a lot of communication. That was one of the things I was considering in college, but I didn't. I did the social work route.
Is pretty astounding. All right. And I'm going to be showing some of that to you now. Okay. In order to fully understand what Kristy Blanchard has been doing behind the scenes, Let's take a look at a video I did a while ago about a YouTuber and social media maven on Facebook. Her name is Fancy Maselli. We need to know what happened to Fancy in order to understand that that is being repeated across the board with many other YouTubers, social media creators, and influencers, and it's all being done with Kristy.
It's Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network.
Kristy is Kristy seems to be causing a lot of problems.
I'm not perfect, just real. I'm just truthful. And you just have all the facts and evidence that anyone could possibly want.
Okay, so this is Fancy Maselli. She is a wannabe kind of like actress, writer, producer, and she approached Kristy Blanchard shortly after the HBO special came out about Gypsy and kind of like sold herself to Kristy as like, I can help you. I can be someone who helps you get into Hollywood, get a show, get a book deal. Like I can be sort of like a manager type person for you, for the good and the bad of it. I'm not saying that she clearly does have a background in Hollywood. She used to live in California and she's been on shows like The Newlywed Couple. You can check her out at the Good Wives Network, but this is Fancy Maselli, and she had a really interesting and crazy relationship with Kristy Blanchard. This is just the start of what's going on with Kristy.
So we know that Kristy doesn't like Fancy. I'm going to skip through this so you can go and watch and find the reasons why she doesn't like Fancy. But they've had a we've talked about it on this channel. It turned very toxic between those two.
Using fellow members of Facebook.
Guys, make sure to give this live a thumbs up for me. Helps us go out into the algorithm, bring more people back. It's just a free way to help me out, and it's really, really appreciated.
Book groups to harass her.
So this comment is from a mom. 100% true. So we tried to do, I think it was a documentary or a TV show or something with her, but she was very unprofessional.
This is Mia talking about Fancy. Mia is Kristy's daughter.
So we cut down.
Kristy and Rod's daughter, I should say. Hi, Earth Angel. How are you doing? Thank you, Earth Angel, and thank you for your kind comments.
Guys didn't want anything to do with her. Didn't want to make the show or the documentary, whatever it was. I don't remember really.
You guys, I've spoken to a lot of you. If I've missed anybody, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm so sorry. And I would love it if you put in the comments, hey, you missed me, so that I can not miss you. It was by complete mistake if I have. I think I thanked everybody, but I don't know. Oh, no, I didn't. I want to say a huge thank you to Kelly from What's the Obsession, but I'll do that at the end.
Once we did that, she went on a rampage of saying my mom's worse than Dee Dee when me and my brother completely turned out normal. Saying a whole bunch of stuff that Gypsy was going to murder me on my wedding day because she's jealous of me. I have a screenshot of something that she said to you. Let me pull that up. Here it is. I'm so sick of Gypsy. Like, honestly, I just want to bury her so far down a rabbit hole. And I honestly think if I dig enough, I can make her look so fucking bad. So, like, she's putting out articles and stuff, calling herself a family friend, saying a bunch of stuff that is not true. I have her mugshots as well. If y'all want to believe her, go right ahead. But I'm
not a fan of the doxing that they're doing on Fancy, but Fancy is doxing Gypsy with all of her medical records. I'm not a fan of that either.
I'm just here to clear up.
Okay, so that was Mia.
But you know, she paid for those records, and is it any different than because her case is so medically driven? Is it any different than if we were to get the autopsy of somebody? What do you guys think? Getting medical records because this case is medically driven, is it any different than getting anything else in a case, in a true crime case? Because we have to remember that Gypsy did commit what was it? Conspiracy to murder. She was convicted of that. Fancy was not.
Kristy Blanchard's daughter, who is Gypsy Rose's stepsister, right? Now, Mia has created quite a social media following, and it may have a lot to do with the fact that she's the sister of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She makes money and gets brand deals from stuff like that, I'm assuming. I mean, that's what most people do. So it certainly has behooved her to claim her sister, to make it public, and to go on social media and have these accounts. We all know that even though it's likely hard to have Gypsy Rose in this whole situation as a part of your life, right?
Would you promote the fact that Gypsy was your sister on social medias? How would you feel about that?
As a stepmom, even though it's probably hard to deal with that, I'm sure there's been some financial on and hear about how crazy Kristy Blanchard's shenanigans were with Fancy Maselli. Regardless of the reason, the relationship between Fancy and the Blanchards had soured, and the result was ugly, you guys. Fancy makes claims
super ugly
of horrible bullying online. You'll have to go to the Good Wives Network to see all of it, but suffice it to say, people start.
Yes, they talk about Fancy's private areas and not in a good way, and yeah, it gets down and dirty.
Started making entire Facebook groups to make fun of Fancy's lady parts.
Let's move on to Ryan.
And they end up
this is Ryan Lee. If you don't know Ryan Lee, she is somebody that first teamed up with Fancy and was really good friends. Then she fought with Fancy and went over to Kristy and said that she felt like the whole reason she even met Fancy was to bring her to Kristy, put her in Kristy in her life, and she since started fighting with Kristy. She fights with Nina, like they're all fighting. It's just wow.
Kind of like going into business together for a short period of time, going on each other's TikToks and YouTubes and making all kinds of crazy ass videos in which Ryan is really calling Gypsy out. So is Fancy. They're shitting all over Gypsy, Kristy Blanchard, and the entire Blanchard family. Let's take a listen. But everything really hit a sore spot for me when Fancy's new team member,
Dave, did the Rusaks give you that information? Just curious.
acted out her version of Dee Dee's murder on TikTok. Ryan is new to Fancy's team, and it's clear she's trying really hard to be a productive member. She is very pro getting Nicholas Godejohn a new trial, which is something I'm very interested in as well.
Yes, Ryan does support the movement for Gypsy's co-conspirator or whatever, Nick Godejohn, to get a new trial. And I think he does deserve a new trial, but I don't think Nick deserves to be out in the public.
But Ryan and Fancy Drew have taken this to an extreme by putting out theories that Nick wasn't involved and Gypsy committed the schmurder.
Yes, they're completely putting out theories of Gypsy being the one to do it, Gypsy helping, Gypsy's ex-boyfriend. His name escapes me. He was the one that the mother went and picked her up from the house. That guy. They say that he's involved in it. Just a lot of stuff. So I will put the link for this video over down in the description and you can watch it on your own. Let's pop over to Nina's page. Where are we at time? 54 minutes. Okay, we're okay. Okay. So she has an upcoming live that says, let's talk about it. Gypsy Rose slid into the DMs. So looks like Gypsy Rose sent her another message. But also she talks about Gypsy Rose, Ryan Lee, and the Kristy Blanchard saga. Let me I thought I had it queued up to the right spot, but I didn't. But let's start right here.
We're not really speaking like she alleges they were. So I want to read you guys a couple of these messages, and I want to show them to you too. She says, Jamie says Gypsy wants to sit on the Ryan thing, which is her right. I think it's a really bad idea, but it's her decision. Are we still going to do the Nina thing?
For context, Jamie is supposedly the Kristy's press person, but Nina thinks that Jamie doesn't exist and that Jamie is actually Kristy.
Basically saying, cancel me. She said, I just feel like I'm being spun everywhere. I just talked to you, and within 2 hours now, Jamie's telling me different, which is the fake PR person that Kristy.
And this is actually Kristy talking about Jamie. You can see up here at the top, it says, can you see that? It says Kristy. You can't because this is blocking it, but it does say Kristy up at the top.
Allegedly. And I'm getting lost. I'll be sitting here waiting for whatever.
Jamie see it up there. I can't put my pointer up there.
Apparently, she spoke with Gypsy. I'm sorry, Gypsy is apparently sus of me. I figured me offering to take a huge backlash over helping would have helped something.
So here, Kristy is admitting that Gypsy is sus of her.
Big dogs and is now against her.
And that's why I worry that there's inner fighting going to happen because,
she said Nina already has a countdown for when they break up, so it'll be a nice thing for her to talk about. I hope your night's going well. I'm about to get off. So that is text messages on her phone, but she didn't get a response from her, so she went ahead and sent her a message on Facebook. She said, so I don't know when or if you're going to see this. I'm sitting here crying because I just got told off by Jamie, who said a bunch of off-the-wall hurtful stuff to me and told me I'm essentially not allowed to talk to you. And
if Nina is right and Jamie doesn't exist, I mean, I've got my eyebrow up with Kristy. Like, what? It's like me talking about you guys dancing and like making up this whole fun story. And it's like, is this a fun story, Kristy, that you're making up? What's going on here?
Wanted to talk to her attorney. I don't understand what's going on at all. And you told me I'm your real life friend and you cared about me. Then when I get off work to be told I'm not allowed to contact you, I'm not allowed to talk to you. I thought what I thought was my friend. Whatever reason, I don't know. I'm completely lost. You don't want to ever talk to me about Gypsy, fine. I'll never say her name again. I just truly was trying to help. I didn't want social media to come after her, and I was willing to put the target on my back to help. So I don't know how much
becoming a martyr right now, carrying that cross, Gypsy Rose cross.
Right. Now, Kristy Blanchard had also said in several messages that I'll also post later that she was busy, Gypsy was sick, or Gypsy had her nose done, or her mom came by and she had to take care of that, or like a whole bunch of things that she made excuses of. Right. Now, if I didn't know Kristy and I didn't realize what she was doing, I really would have felt bad for her. I would have sympathized for her because of the fact that she had to deal with a woman that's unstable, essentially. But knowing what I know about Kristy, like I still sort of feel bad for her, but not feel bad for her in a way that I'm like, oh, she had to deal with that. Right. Now, all of this happened on a Friday. Then Ryan posted a video stating basically she thinks that Kristy Blanchard was basically doing a social media experiment with different creators and trying to turn them against each other. And basically we all need to get along and she'd be open to having.
We talked about that. Ryan is coming out saying that Kristy is doing a social media experiment and seeing how she can turn all the influencers and the true crimers on each other. And we looked at that. And I mean, maybe she's doing that. I don't know. So let's move on. This is Nina's response to all of this.
And I made a little skit about it because this was all pretty funny. Here's the skit. Kristy just messaged me. And, her and I are both gullible. Like, we're not, no. I never said that we're unintelligent. I said that we are gullible, is what I said. Okay? Yeah, no, I didn't fall for anything. Do you like my new haircut? I just got it cut. Yo. Yeah, I was gaming.
So they're up in arms that Nina dressed up like this. They became offended.
With us. Okay? They're just mad. This literally played out in real time. I literally said word for word what she said in her YouTube video. And now she's saying she's offended. Well, I did put on the clown filter from TikTok because she looked like a clown stating these things. Now she's saying, oh my gosh, Nina's mean, Nina's bullying me. I'm so wrong. And she almost wanted to hurt herself over the things that I said, and so on and so forth. Now, the thing that's really mind-blowing to me is the fact that you literally were conspiring against me. And then after you conspire against me, you are now saying I should accept what you're saying and move past it.
Sounding a little gypsy.
Just like ignore what I said in the past and please forgive me. I didn't know what I was saying. You know, there's more bad behavior on my horizon, but you've got to accept my apology because I apologize for my other bad behavior. It doesn't matter that I continue the bad behavior, even though I say I'm going to do better. You have to accept my apology for the other bad behavior because look what happened to me when I was a kid. That's how I feel it's happened. You know, that's what if she would just have better behavior and do what she says she's going to do, people wouldn't be so up in arms about all of this. I don't know. What do you guys think? I had some possibly good news. I have maybe the opportunity to travel to Colorado. I have an opportunity to spend the summer in Wyoming. I think I'm going to maybe do it. And we're going to travel, take 10 days to travel across the United States. And I'm going to use those 10 days to stop at true crime sites for you guys. And we're going to cover some true crime in each state that we stop in. And when we're in Wyoming, we're going to go to the Grand Tetons and kind of do the Gabby Petito case and possibly even go to the Lori Vallow, just cases throughout, and hopefully I get accepted into the program. And if I do, I'm going to start filming that. So I'm so excited about that. And I hope it comes to fruition. But if it doesn't, I'm going to continue bringing you fun and interesting content. And I hope that you will subscribe or become a member if you like my content. And be sure, if you subscribe, to ring that bell because it helps my channel out. It brings it out or it helps you guys out when I post a live or a video. So yeah, Earth, I think it would be so fun. Earth Angel, I think it would be so fun. Chris V says, I supported Gypsy, but not anymore. I don't like what I'm seeing. Same. I was a stan when she came out. I welcomed her to the free world, but it's just bad behavior, and it's just repeated bad behavior. So I don't even know. I don't believe her. Actually, I don't believe Gypsy anymore. And I think that if Nick does get another trial, I think some stuff is going to come out about Gypsy that we didn't know that she's hiding. You can't do double jeopardy, but if new stuff comes to light, they can charge you for new things. So I think she needs to be careful, but I also think that she doesn't know how to be careful because she's just kind of living by the seat of her pants kind of girl, just flying out there. Okay, guys, I am going to head on out of here. And yeah, it's going to be super cool. Sometimes the universe creates weird situations so that beautiful situations can bloom from it. So that seems to be what's happening here. And I'm so happy for it. I'm still nervous and still worried, but a lot of my fear has been alleviated by Kelly from What's the Obsession. She's helping me out. And thank you, Caroline, for, I don't know what you did to make her see it, but thank you so much. Somebody said that I sounded extremely desperate in that video. And my thoughts were good, because I was desperate. I was desperate for help. I was all alone, and I felt all alone. And I don't feel that way anymore from your guys' support and from Kelly from What's the Obsession helping me. So yeah, I felt desperate and alone. And sometimes it's okay to let the world see you that way, because I've hid that feeling for my entire life. And where did it get me? It got me more desperate and alone. So when you kind of say the words, sometimes the light just disintegrates them into beauty. It just makes it grow. Sometimes darkness needs to be shown the light. And just like the darkness needs to be shown the light, sometimes you have to bring the darkness into the light and the light into the darkness. It works both ways. So anyway, if nobody's told you this today, I'm telling you this, you guys. I am so grateful for you, and I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.